Since his debut in 2009, Stephen Curry has changed the game of basketball like no one else has before. His incredible shots, his never-before-seen way of playing, and an innate ability to improvise and get out of any problem is what has caused all his rivals to adapt to Curry's recipes. With 4 NBA championships, 2 MVP awards, and an Olympic gold in 2024, Chef Curry has left a mark on basketball that will be impossible to erase in the history of this sport. How has a boy from Ohio been able to change the rules of a sport with more than 70 years of history? What has caused Curry to be a machine for destroying rivals and the NBA to constantly search for an heir to his throne? This is the story of the player who changed the NBA forever.
Dad played in the NBA. I bet you want to be just like him.
Steph.
I came back to tell you something. You'll practice hard, and you will be. And in 10 years, I'll be with my dad, and we'll be watching you.
Wardell Stephen Curry II, or simply Stephen Curry, was born on March 14, 1988 at Summa Hospital in Akron, Ohio. And as if by fate, 4 years earlier, a certain LeBron James had also been born in the same hospital. His father, Del Curry, was a former basketball player who played 16 seasons in the NBA, standing out with the Charlotte team where he became an important player and was even chosen as the best 6th man on his team. Stephen and his younger brother Seth both had the chance to practice shooting during their father's team warm-ups. Vince Carter, one of Del's teammates, noticed the boys' dedication and later remarked, "These early experiences would lay the foundation for Curry's deep passion for basketball. They loved the game. You could see the passion and dedication in their eyes, especially when they practiced their shots."
Coming out, getting my workout in right before the game, and once I finish my workout, I'm telling Steph to come on. We usually play one-on-one before each game. Now, all of a sudden, the NBA, and you play against him, see him win the MVP, see him win a championship. I'm just like, man, this is the same kid.
Curry fell in love with basketball, and at the age of 5, was already showing signs that he wanted to follow in his father's footsteps. Although his father was the one who drove his dream, his mother, Sonia Curry, was a very important pillar in his development and career. Sonia was a great athlete at Virginia Tech, where she graduated with a degree in education and met Del Curry. From the beginning, Sonia established teamwork within her family and made every effort to achieve all goals, forming a structure where God came first, family second, and school third. Under this philosophy, she raised 3 successful children, Stephen and Seth, both NBA players, and Seidel, and prominent volleyball player at Elon University. Well, I always tried to develop his tenacity, his determination to never give up, just keep working, work, and more work, Sonia Curry commented in an interview.
I'm still trying to be that support that I was when he was little. So I was just talking to him about, stay focused, son. Just focus on what you can do. And that's your shot. Just shoot, just shoot.
The Curry family had to move from Charlotte to Toronto due to Del's team change. There, Stephen joined the basketball team at Queensway Christian College in Ontario. His coach was surprised that a former NBA star decided to enroll his son in a relatively unknown school in Toronto. Excitedly waiting to see what the son of an NBA player would be like, he was surprised by Curry's short stature for the sport. However, his opinion changed after seeing Curry play, admitting that he had never seen a boy his age with such knowledge of the game. But what impressed him most was his ability to shoot and score from anywhere on the court. Truly something incredible for his age. James Lackey, Curry's coach, recalled a time when his team was undefeated and lost a game by around 6 to 7 points with 1 minute remaining. Seeing that the situation was difficult, he addressed his players, telling them that whether they won or lose, they are great athletes. However, Curry interrupted him in the middle of his speech and said, "We are not going to lose this game. Give me the ball and we will win."
File tournament, and we were losing by 6 points, and there was just maybe a minute left to go, so I called a timeout, and you give the speech that every coach gives to be gracious winners or losers and shake hands at the end and keep your heads up and just, the typical coach speech. But Stephen stopped me right in the middle of the speech and he said, "Hey, we are not losing this game." And he just said, "Give me the ball and we will win." So I said, "Okay, guys, you heard Steph. No more plays. If you happen to get your hands on the ball, just give it to Stephen and get out of the way." So The next minute, I couldn't believe what I saw. He scored 12 points in 1 minute, and we went from losing by 6 to winning by 6.
And so it was. The coach's instructions were clear. Give the balls to Curry. Lackey himself says that to this day, he has not seen a performance as spectacular as Curry's. He shot from all sides, and I don't think he missed a shot. We went from losing by 6 or 7 points to winning by the same margin. It was something incredible. Once his father retired from the NBA with the Toronto Raptors, the family returned to Charlotte, where Stephen began his high school studies at Charlotte Christian School. It was there that Curry realized he had to change his game if he wanted to achieve his dream of being an NBA player.
Thank you guys so much for this tremendous honor. I could have never dreamt to be back here as an alumni of Charlotte Christian to celebrate all that happened on this court.
Although many knew of Curry's talent and his skills as a passer with great vision of the game, he did not catch the eye of college recruiters. At that time, Curry did not have the best physique and was not even 5 feet tall, which also affected his shot. This problem was quickly detected by his father, who told him that if he wanted to play at the university level, he would have to change his shooting technique and shoot from above his head to make up for his lack of height and physicality.
My dad was always a great role model for me, and to see how he handled our family while he was, balancing the NBA life.
That summer, father and son practiced every day, all the time on that court, repeating the same shot over and over again. Dell says that this was a very tough time for Stephen, and that he was close to giving up. His own brother, who observed those intense training sessions, commented, "They spent hours and hours practicing on that court. There were times when Stephen couldn't shoot. He cried and screamed desperately that he couldn't continue, but he had to keep repeating it until he mastered it." After this intense training, Curry's technique improved considerably, which helped lead his team to 3 conference titles and 3 playoff appearances, making him the most important player on his team. However, they still did not get the attention of major universities. It wasn't until he tried out at Virginia Tech, his parents' university and the place where Curry wanted to play, that he was noticed. They were very impressed with his abilities, but only offered him a spot without a scholarship. At that moment, Curry asked himself and asked his dad, "Why? Why doesn't anyone want me?" Dell told him that Virginia Tech and other universities did not trust Curry's physique and doubted he could compete against college players. Curry was disappointed by Virginia Tech's response. Without other significant offers, he found himself unsure of his next move. But then, a call came that changed everything. Davidson College and its coach, Bob McKillop, had followed Stephen Curry since the 10th grade. When they learned that he wasn't going to Virginia Tech, they saw a golden opportunity to recruit the young star. McKillop had been watching Curry's evolution as a player since high school, but what impressed him most was Curry's perseverance. Even on his worst days when shots wouldn't fall or passes missed their mark, Curry never gave up. He kept trying, mastering his frustration, a mentality that reminded McKillop of the great Kobe Bryant. Bob saw in Curry a player who wouldn't allow himself to fail and who had the potential to become a great basketball player.
And Kobe slaps him on the behind and gives him a smile and says, "That's good shooting, kid."
Kobe all over Steph said, "Wait a minute here, no, take this."
Though Curry hadn't received calls from other universities, it didn't mean he would choose Davidson without careful consideration. McKillop still had the difficult task of convincing Curry and his family that Davidson College was the best choice for his future. Convincing the tough Curry family, especially his mother, Sonia, known for being relentless about her children's futures, was no easy feat. McKillop had to ensure that both he and Davidson were the best options for her son. After a long interview, Coach McKillop managed to convince Sonia that Curry would be in good hands. However, she made Bob promise to always keep Curry responsible. Curry arrived at Davidson College in 2006, where he was an ordinary student who loved to joke and share moments with friends, but on the court, he transformed into a true demon. His influence was felt from his first season as he elevated his team's winning percentage from 64% to 85%. Davidson College went from being a team with with little to no aspirations to becoming one of the NCAA favorites. Individually, Curry began breaking records right away. The first, the number of three-pointers in a season. The previous record of 113 was shattered by Curry, who scored 122 in his freshman year. By his second year, Curry had grown to 6'2", and he continued to dominate the college basketball scene. His team set a conference record with 20 wins and 0 losses. His strong performances led the Wildcats to their first NCAA tournament victory since 1969, with Curry scoring 40 points that night. For the second consecutive year, he led his conference in scoring, guiding his team to the 2008 National Championship Finals, where they lost to the Kansas Jayhawks. Despite the loss, Curry broke the three-point record again with a total of 162 three-pointers in a single season. Everyone thought Curry would forego his remaining college years, but he decided to stay one more year to polish his skills as a point guard. By his final season at Davidson, he was the most feared player in the NCAA. Curry eventually gave up his fourth year of college and entered the 2009 NBA draft. Although Curry has been the best player to have passed through Davidson College, the institution has not retired his jersey due to a rule requiring all students to graduate before that honor is bestowed. Curry promised to return and finish his education once his career is over, and with the number of accomplishments he's achieved in the NBA, Davidson College will surely be eager to honor their greatest player.
Wildcat, please join me in celebrating Stephen Curry, who graduates today from Davidson College.
Just showing it is never too late to go back and finish what you started. Just ask Davidson College.
The 7th pick in the 2009 NBA draft, the Golden State Warriors select Stephen Curry from Davidson College.
The 6'3" junior guard out of Davidson, quite simply, is the best shooter in the draft.
He's going to have to improve his decision-making a little bit with the ball in his hands, and his shot selection has got to be...
The 2009 NBA draft will always be remembered as one of the most important in the league's history. It marked the arrival of a player who would change the course of basketball, a true game changer. Despite this, 6 teams passed on Curry, likely regretting that decision ever since. Although not initially considered the top prospect, Curry climbed the rankings, becoming a favorite among many teams, including the New York Knicks, who wanted to take him at the 8th position. But the Golden State Warriors, already aware of the Knicks' intentions, didn't allow it, and selected Curry with the 7th pick. Interestingly, Curry was not the first point guard chosen in that draft. The Minnesota Timberwolves, holding both the 5th and 6th picks, selected Ricky Rubio and Johnny Flynn, who never reached the level of success that Curry did. Curry has spent his entire career with the Warriors, and it has been 15 years since his NBA debut in October 2009 against the Houston Rockets, where he scored 14 points. From that point on, his career took off, and he became the player who changed the game. In his rookie season, he posted impressive numbers: 17.5 points, 5.9 assists, and 1.9 steals per game, finishing second in Rookie of the Year voting behind Tyreke Evans. By his second season, Curry was already improving, showing glimpses of the greatest shooter of all time. However, his early NBA years were marred by injuries. In 2010, Curry underwent knee surgery, and in 2011, an ankle injury limited him to just 26 games. This led to doubts. Could Curry recover from his injuries? Would we miss out on a brilliant career? Would he ever return to his best form? These questions even reached his team. The Golden State Warriors considered trading Curry, but the Milwaukee Bucks, who were interested, backed out due to concerns about his injuries. Left with no choice, the Warriors kept Curry and gave him another chance to shine. Curry returned stronger than ever, and alongside teammate Klay Thompson, he revolutionized the NBA. That season, Curry hit 272 three-pointers, breaking the single-season record, and averaged 22.9 points per game. Despite doubts about his injuries and the possibility of a trade, Curry led Golden State back to the playoffs. Curry's entry into the NBA in 2009 is crucial to understanding how the league has changed forever. Before then, the average three-point shooting percentage for teams was just 16.9%. By 2012, it had risen to 18.4%. With the arrival of Steve Kerr as head coach in 2014, Curry gained the offensive freedom he needed. Kerr's trust in Curry's shot allowed him to have his best season, averaging 23.8 points, 7.7 assists, and 2 steals per game. Once again, Curry broke his own record for three-pointers in a season with 281, earned the MVP award, and led the Warriors to their first NBA championship in 40 years, defeating LeBron James and the Cavaliers. As Curry's influence grew, so did the league's reliance on the three-pointer. By 2015, the average three-point percentage had risen to 22.4%, with teams trying to emulate Curry's Warriors. The trend was clear. Teams wanted to match Curry's Warriors, and their strategies, players, and style of play were increasingly focused on three-point shooting. In 2016, Curry and the Warriors had one of the greatest seasons in NBA history. The team started with 24 consecutive wins, and Curry broke his own three-point record again, making 402 three-pointers and averaging 30.1 points per game. Curry became the first unanimous MVP in NBA history, and the Warriors set a record with 73 regular season wins, although they lost the finals to LeBron's Cavaliers after leading 3-1 in the series. In 2017, Kevin Durant joined Curry, Thompson, and Draymond Green to form a super team that won championships in 2017 and 2018, solidifying the Warriors as the best team in the NBA, with Curry as the biggest star. No team could stop the Warriors, and franchises began looking for the best shooters, with drafts filled with prospects specializing in three-point shooting. By 2016, the three-point shooting percentage had risen to 24.1%, and by 2018, it was 29%. For the 2019 season, many things would change in Golden State in free agency, and some internal problems caused Curry's team to drastically lower its level compared to the two-time championship. However, they were able to move forward, and with a great finish from Chef, the Warriors once again reached the postseason as first in their conference and were looking to become three-time NBA champions. Despite an injury to Durant, the Warriors were able to reach their 5th consecutive final thanks to the great level of Curry, who in turn would become the leading three-point scorer in the postseason. In the finals, they would face a great team, the Toronto Raptors, who were looking for their first NBA championship. Although Curry would return to his MVP version, injuries to Durant and Thompson weakened the Warriors, and although they put up a fight, winning the 2nd of the series in Toronto, and Curry having a last shot to win the 6th of the game, they would finally lose the series 4-2 for the Raptors, who would win their first NBA title. In the following seasons, Curry maintained a high level of play, despite some injuries and the Warriors' ups and downs. By the 2020 season, teams were averaging 34.1 three-point attempts per game, a testament to Curry's influence on the league. In 2022, Curry and the Warriors won their most recent NBA championship, defeating the Celtics. Curry was named Finals MVP, and during that season, he became the NBA's all-time leader in three-pointers, surpassing Ray Allen's record of 2,974. Recently, the world watched in awe as Curry delivered an incredible performance against France in the Olympic final, adding to his stellar play in the semifinals against Serbia. At 36 years old, Chef Curry continues to build on his legacy. In the final, Curry drained 4 consecutive three-pointers in the last 3 minutes of the game, an unprecedented feat. Once again, Steph delivered a memorable performance, scoring 24 points, including 8 three-pointers with a 61.5% shooting percentage.
Kicks it out to Curry. Again, makes space for himself. Oh, that's 2 games! Lovely dribble, puts it up. Oh, 20 seconds to go. They're ahead by just unbelievable. Extraordinary. Have you ever seen anything like it? What a player for the USA.
The great debate among basketball analysts and people is, what has been the key to Curry's dominance? Why has the way the entire NBA plays changed? At 34 years old, Chef has dominated and controlled the court since his first game, and his influence in the NBA has been mainly due to his three-pointers. It's not for nothing that he is known as the greatest shooter of all time. Since his arrival in the NBA in 2009, all teams have had to improve their long-distance shooting and use this forgotten weapon until the emergence of Curry as their main winning card. Curry not only revolutionized the way teams attack, he has also changed the defensive game, as teams have had to advance their lines to face the threat of the league's great shooters. Steph's influence is so overwhelming that the NBA has modified his style as he has changed, added, or taken away things from his game. Today, the trend is clear. The NBA belongs to the best shooters. A before and after basketball that Stephen Curry has caused But what still makes Curry unique is that he continues to find ways to overcome defenses beyond natural talent and shooting practice, his ability to improvise. It's what makes him so unpredictable when it comes to scoring. Curry's success in the NBA and in the world is not only due to his shooting ability or game vision. Steph's personality has catapulted him to total success. His passion for the game, the joy we see with his teammates, fans, family, or those special moments that he gives us with his daughter Riley are what allow Curry to develop all his abilities.
We're both supposed to, you know.
That's too loud,
I know. Hold on 1 second.
You're awesome. Steph Curry and pops Del Curry. A 40-footer off the window.
He can run out as well, and he's
Del Curry.
ready to Del Curry.
His improvisation and adaptability to different situations on the court have caused Curry to take his game to the highest level. His creative and spontaneous plays have led him to change the paradigms of the sport. Curry has never shown that he is afraid to try different things, and that natural curiosity is what has led him to improve his shot and be above the rest.
They do have a timeout. Decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown. Bang! Remaining.
Steph from three-quarter court. And he banked it in! Ball, Russ Smith. Good effort. Banged into Curry again. And he banked it in!
In this way, he has earned the title of being the most innovative player who has ever stepped foot in the NBA, in the same way that other athletes in his sport, such as Muhammad Ali or Lionel Messi. How can you define Curry? A successful guy with a constant drive for success both on and off the court, and his personality and skills have made him a unique player and the one chosen to change the history of this sport. At the moment, Curry has renewed with the Warriors until 2026, and although the next step is retirement, he does not cease to surprise us with his performances at 34 years old. Many consider him the best in history, along with Michael Jordan, LeBron James, among others. Other names, but if there is one thing we are sure of, it is that he has been the only player who has changed the NBA forever.